What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. This is episode 11 now on the series. I can't believe we even got past 10. I was really struggling there for a long time just with the leveling system in the game, but grinded my way through it, and now we're here, baby. You guys remember from the last episode, we bought this beautiful Mark II GTI from a junkyard for about 9,000 bucks. So we're a bit deep in. We went with over fenders. We got these sort of BBS-esque wheels. I don't know what style those are. They kind of look like CCWs actually, but we got some cool wheels on there. We are still missing a plate, but that's sort of the cherry on the top, the finishing touch. So we will get there in another video. But what we're going to be doing today, you guys can see I took the front wheels off already, got the axles out, transmissions out. We're going to be pulling this engine here, so let's use the crane here, pull out engine from car, and there we go. Completely empty engine bay, and now we can move this. Actually, we should probably keep the crane there because we're going to have a new engine to drop in it. Over here, we are going to create a new engine. So I want to take a look at the swaps here. I don't believe we can do an all-wheel drive swap. It looks like we can do the BFM or the turbocharged or any of the other inline fours. So I wanted to take a look at the i4 turbocharged. That puts us at 180 horsepower, which isn't bad, but if you could also do a BFM, wouldn't you? I mean, 279 horsepower is a lot. That's a lot of power down to the ground. So I think we're gonna build up another one of these bad boys. That's the same engine that we have over here. Take you guys over to our Mark I here so you can take a look at that. It's going to be the exact same engine as this one, only difference being we are going to put it in a completely different shell. Not necessarily completely different. It's Mark I generation versus the Mark II generation. They look very similar. This one, of course, just has the addition of the wide body. We went with some lore-friendly racing seats, and we have the original Volkswagen Mark II GTI steering wheel in there, which is super cool. So we need the i4B block and the i4B turbo. So let's grab those from the store. Okay, I bought just about everything that I could think of. So hopefully we have enough to at least get a decent start on here. You guys can see I got the upgraded turbo on there with all the red accent hardware. Fuel filter I did not grab, or the oil filter, so let's get those quick. All right, fuel filter, we have an upgraded fuel filter. Put that in there. Oil filter is just the standard i4B. Crankshaft, we have the i4B crank. And now we can put on our upgraded flywheel, our upgraded clutch disc, and our upgraded clutch pressure plate. There we go, a couple of bolts around the outside. And then clutch release bearing, just barely squeeze that in there. Looks good. Okay, move it around to the front here. I don't have the idler. I do have a water pump, so we can put that in there. Just 2 bolts. The alternator, I got an upgraded one of those. 2 bolts as well on the accessory bracket. Power steering pump, I'm pretty sure there's an upgraded one of those. And then now, all we have to do is get an idler roller. All right, we should be good now. I even got the piston rings. That's something I always forget about, but I was actually able to remember this time, which is good. Okay, now let's focus in on this engine block here and get these pistons put in. We went for the upgraded pistons, of course. Got to make as much power as we possibly can. Wouldn't it be funny if this car actually makes more power than the Mark I? Like, we're literally doing the same exact swap, same upgraded transmission, same basically everything. So I'm curious to see how this actually turns out, if we make more power or not. Engine head, I do have an upgraded head. Then we have 2 camshafts in here. We went for upgraded cams. Got the exhaust manifold. That is also upgraded. A couple of bolts on the top here, and then 4 bolts connecting it to the turbo. I almost said to the transmission. Intake manifold, got an upgraded one of those. 5 bolts across the top here. All right, so now we can move on to these camshaft caps. We have 8 of these bad boys, and they are 2 bolts apiece. Last camshaft cap here. I think it's kind of interesting too that this game, although it is super realistic, like, well, not super realistic, it's very realistic. But a couple of things that it does miss is like assembly lube, gaskets, that sort of stuff. So we're going to hop into the store here, go to the tuning shop. I did forget about spark plugs. We're gonna need 4 of these upgraded spark plugs, the NGK plugs. And then we are going to need ignition coils. 4 of these red tops. Kind of dresses up the engine a little bit. We can put our cylinder head cover on here. That's no big deal. There we go. Let's get our spark plugs in there. And now we can do those upgraded ignition coils, those red tops, really dress up the engine a little bit. Also add some more horse puppies to this monster of a Mark II. Up the front, we need the i4 single overhead cam. Wait, I thought this car was... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, wait, we definitely just put 2 cams in. We did. It has another timing set that is actually on the back of the engine. So we can put that on. We're gonna need a... God, I should have got an idler while we were in the store. Gotta get the V6B throttle body, if I remember right. We can put our idler roller in over here. And then throttle body, there we go, perfect. My memory didn't fail me for once. Okay, got our throttle in there. Let's dip down under here so we can get our injectors in here. Gotta deliver a ton more fuel with this upgraded intake manifold. Sucking in a lot more air. We're gonna need some fuel to compensate. Now we can get the cert belt A on here. Belt tensioner we don't have. We're gonna have to grab one quick. All right, we'll throw our belt tensioner on here. Next we have the timing cover A. Got a new one of those. Looks good. Okay, crankshaft pulley we don't have. Got to get another idler roller. Let's mount that down here. Perfect. Okay, that is good for the front of the engine. Moving along to the back here. Cam gear A, we have that. And then cam gear B we should have as well. Let's get the timing chain in there. Perfect, looks good. And now we just have to do this cover. But see, that's what I'm talking about. It's missing the gaskets. If we had to install, even if it was just liquid gasket, I think that would make the gameplay a little bit more fun. I think we're done on the top side. Let's rotate this thing around. All right, we are moving right along here. Get one rod cap in, crankshaft bearing cap. Okay, with that done, we can mount our oil pan here. Literally the easiest oil pan in the world. 4 bolts around the outside. I have no idea how that seals. All right, and I think that's it. So let's exit out of there. We'll rotate the engine around once more. Back so it's right side up. There we go, and then we can, hopefully, if I remember correctly, we should be, yep, take off engine from crate. There we go. Now we can install, and so this is our old one. We have no idea still what sort of condition it is in. We basically just removed everything, and we are going to be swapping in a 100% complete inline-4 dual overhead cam BFM engine. Let's move the crane back to where it came from, and look at that, dude. So sick. We have so much room in this engine bay. Honestly, I'm surprised there's no V8 swap for this, but from what I understand, that is very difficult to do in a front-wheel drive car. You would almost have to make it rear-wheel drive. So, with that done, let's raise this thing up. Oh, you know what we should have done? Oh my god. What we should have done is, before we bought all that stuff, we should have gave ourselves a 10% discount. Oh my god. That's okay. We're good. 150% faster unscrewing and screwing. I said that backwards. Or we have 150% faster part installation and removing. I think we should do both of those. I don't see why we wouldn't. Let's do 95% of a successful repair. Let's do 150% faster part examination. Why not? I don't know what that is going to do, but we can run with that. And then let's show the average value of a car at auction. That would have definitely helped out when we were trying to buy a new car. So let's get our new transmission mounted up here, our new gearbox. Get that dropped in. There we go. Now we can get our front drive shaft and both axles back in here. Looks good. All right, so for the exhaust, it is a mod, so it's not gonna, the exhaust isn't gonna line up perfectly, but we need front exhaust section B. Was it A or B? I think it was B. Let's run with B, I guess. And we were right. Sick. Okay. There we go. We got that mounted in. As you can see, it goes nowhere, which is no big deal because the rest of the exhaust is nowhere to be found. That is literally it. So in that case, this car actually might make less power just because of the lack of parts that we have. All right, so now that we got that done, let's drop this thing back down to the ground and we can add in all the rest of the engine bay stuff. This episode is mainly focused on the engine bay, if you guys didn't already pick up on that. Get the new brake servo mounted in there, get our new battery put in the sweet little battery box that this thing has. Air filter base, we don't have one of those. We're going to need a new one. Now we can put the new air filter in there and top it off with the cover. Hopefully I got those clips right. I really don't remember. Yeah, okay, good. It looks like they are clip A. Sweet, and there we go. So we got our air filter figured out. Now we just need a radiator. So let's grab a radiator from the store here. There we go, new radiator. And perfect, we guessed right. Awesome. Okay, so that is the engine bay complete. We just have to add our starter down here, and we should be able to actually fire this thing up as soon as we throw these wheels back on it. But there you go. Got a complete new engine bay there. And let's get these wheels on here quick, and we can go chuck it on the dyno just to see what it'll make. Oh my god, I almost forgot again. We gotta put oil in it. I always forget to put oil in these things. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's like I've never worked in a shop before. Perfect. Alright, now we can close the hood up. And let's move this thing over to the dyno. Cannot start engine. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with it? We have a brand new engine in there. Oh, you know what it probably is? The fuel tank. Let's get a new fuel tank here while we're thinking of it. Right there. Perfect. Okay, let's get underneath this thing and see what's going on. Oh yeah, it actually didn't even have a fuel pump in it. That's why we couldn't start it. So we could have left the tank, but whatever. We're gonna have to replace it anyways. Upgraded fuel pump so we can get all that extra fuel up to those new injectors. Now we should be able to move it over to the dyno, I think. There we go. All right. Okay, let's see what sort of power this thing's gonna put down here. I'm hoping for about the same, around the 400 mark for the Mark 1 that we had. Off to the first pole. Honestly, the graph looks really similar. Yeah, 442, 423. That's perfect. We got a 58% gain in horsepower and a 50% gain in foot-pounds of torque. That is super, super cool. So if we check the car status now, yeah, it should actually measure the actual rating there. So that's awesome. Global body conditions at 96%. I wonder why that is. I don't think we have anything on here that's not in good condition. If we head down to the body here, what is that? What does that say? It's all grayed out. I can't even read it. Oh, it's just missing the license plate. Okay, I guess. Twist my arm. Let's put a license plate on this thing. Go with the Iowa license plate. License plate GG. There we go. We are going to have some feds knocking on our door for sure. We have two cars with the exact same, I guess the feds probably wouldn't be involved in that, but you know what I mean. Two license plates that are exactly the same on two completely different vehicles. Let's check the car status. There we go. So now the global part condition, or global body condition, is actually 100%. This car looks about the same value as our other one, but that's probably because we haven't finished the underside of the car. Everything under there is still stock, still rusty from the junkyard. But take a look at that, man. We got our brand new engine in there. It rips. I'm sure it handles just as poorly as that other front wheel drive Golf with the same engine in it. But I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.